web application. So for this tutorial, what we are going to see, we will build a to-do app. So there is a listing of some step what we are going to build. Like first of all, we will install a fresh Doppar application. Then we will see basic routing. Then we will see Doppar default authentication. Then we will set two-factor check. Then there is a to do migration, and then we will see it. Then we will create a fresh create update delete, that means a code application. Then we will see Doppar insight uh, component, how we can use insight and fix n+1 query issues. Then we will filter and search the Doppar to do grid. On grid, we will apply search and filter. Then we will use a service pattern and then repository pattern for the to-do list query. Then we will check the rate limit for a specific method for to-do controller. Then we will see how we can use a middleware in our controller. So let's start how we can build this application. So first of all, this is the Doppar documentation we are currently now. So just go to the getting started and installation. We are already on, and look at that, there is a requirement, and that is we'll at least need PHP 8.3 or higher to run Doppar in your local machine. Then composer.json, Doppar using Composer. Composer is a PHP dependency manager, so without Composer Doppar cannot will not run, because Doppar uses Composer to manage its dependencies. So how we can install your environment setup, and there is a Mac, Linux and Windows environment. You can follow this. And before starting with Doppar, make sure your PHP version is okay to go. Just check this by running this command. This is my terminal I'm going to use. Just look at it, my PHP version, and my PHP version is currently 8.4. so if Doppar is running from PHP 8.3, so I am moving so PHP 8.3. Now look at that, my PHP version is now going to be PHP 8.3. so maybe I provided wrong password, so I just again running this. And now if you check my PHP version, look at that, this is now PHP 8.3. and now there is Composer. So look at that, this is the Doppar command to install a Doppar fresh Doppar application. So I am going to use this. So my directory will be html, and just I mean in my current working directory, and just run this command. Our app name will be to do app, and just run. Look at that, our very first version 3.0.1 is installing, and loads of packages downloading. And look at that, Doppar is saying before installation, do you want to install authentication? Yes, we need authentication, because there is a authentication in our system, default authentication and two-factor check. So currently I am just skipping it by pressing here N. And do you want to install Doppar Axios? Axios is a HTTP client to interact with your API request. So in this tutorial we are not gonna see the API request, so I am just skipping it, but we will use default authentication in the very next so just I'm skipping it as well. And look at that, our installation is done. Doppar using the version p3.0.4, and the current database connection is using SQLite, and the setup is done, and the PHP migration is already created, because we are using Doppar SQLite. So SQLite is done. SQLite connection is already connected. So this is SQLite, so migration is already loaded, but we are going to use MySQL connection. So you can interact with me, because SQLite is not gonna helpful for all of the users. So just visit the to do directory, not void to do, and now we are in working directory. Just open the application in our to do directory, and now in our HTML there is a to do. Yes, there is a to do, and now our this is our to do. I'm just zooming it so that you can see it very better. Now we are in our current working directory, and this is our to do application. Our to do application is ready, and just we are now, there is a command to install to do application. I'm just making it my to do, and I am inside to do application. I'm just zooming it because now okay. So there is a command to start the application, that is PHP pool. If you enter this, look at that, there is a loads of directory, there is a load, sorry, there is a loads of Doppar command. So there is a command to start server, to start the Doppar server, and the version is 0.3.1. Doppar uses Symfony console to handle its console request. Look at that, this is server start command, that is migrate fresh view cache. This is the make command, this is the key generate, this is the gate column, this is the db set, this is the cron related command, this is the config, this is the cache, and this is the boost command to optimize this application caching. This is the migrate command. And now okay, look at that, this is the server, and this is the server start command, start the development server, and this is the server stop command. This is the development server stopping command, cause Doppar also support your running server command in the background, so you can stop the background process by running the stop server command. So let run this command, server start command. So we are ready to run this. So PHP pool server start, and our server is started, and our URL is localhost 8004. Look at that, our application is run. We are seeing the very welcome page, and the version is 3.0.4. so just go to our app directory, and there is a controller and exception and middleware and kernel. Kernel means your all the middleware will be registered here, and we will see this one by one. So let's see first of all the directory structure. Look at that, this is the very similar like Laravel application, but this is not Laravel, this is a purely Doppar application. Doppar just uses Laravel architecture concept, but there is a totally different animal. So look at that, this is the HTTP controller. Doppar fresh version give you two controller, like first of all, one is API controller, and look at that, this is the API controller. You are seeing this, the endpoint will be API welcome. If you visit the API welcome, you will see the welcome to Doppar, this message you are seeing. And now if we see the another controller, that is the empty abstract controller. Doppar just allow you to write your reusable queries, reusable or different kind of thing you can write here and use it in your controller, cause controller just extend this your empty abstract class. So no need to create your any other classes to write your reusable messages or other thing. So this is the another welcome controller. This is the for web, not for API. Look at that, this is the URI is just home, and you are seeing this just welcome page. So this is the welcome, and Doppar uses the odo template. Look at that, welcome.odo.php, and the very nice thing is you can change your odo syntax from here, config odo.php. You can anything, any syntax you can change just from the Doppar odo.php file. Look at that, open comment, close comment, open escape, close escape, open draw, close draw, what kind of open echo, close echo. That means if you change here, your echo syntax will be changed. If you change here, your for is, if, and other conditional syntax will be changed. So this is totally controllable. You can control it like what you want, your preferred syntax. So now this is the welcome controller we are seeing, our architecture concept we are looking for. And now this is the exception, before exception handler. This is the very important part. This just there is a controller already, we see it, and this is the exception, before exception handler. Now look at that, there is a two method, that is handle and that is support. So what does it mean, before exception handler? Before exception handler means, just assume we are intentionally creating an issue here. Now if we refresh the page, an error will be occurred. Look at that, the syntax error, unexpected token. Now here, cause we remove the semicolon from here, so what will happen, what will you do before this exception handler? This means any exception in your Doppar application is going to happen. Now before the exception occurs, the handle method will be called. Look at that, the handle logic be executed before the application processes an exception. So we will see this method throwable first, not this error. Now if we refresh the page, look at that, our just dump and dice here, syntax error, unexpected token, line number 20. So the method is triggered. But if we support, what is support? Support means determine this handler should be run in the current context. That means the current request will execute this handle or not. Just make it false, you will see the error again. That means this is the use cases of your handle method. That means the handle method will execute before processes an exception in your Doppar application. That means you can handle your error log from handle method like here. So that means you can use it like audit, and just you are going to create your audit from here, just very simple. So this is the use case of this handle method. You can use the before exception handler, and this is very simple, I think. And so our exception handler is done. Now we are in again the Doppar application. Now look at the middleware part. There is loads of middleware. We are getting 4 middleware. That means one is authenticate middleware. This will check user is authenticated or not. This is the guest middleware. This will check user is guest or authenticated. And this is the trusted proxies. By default, this is the commented middleware, and this is the verified two-factor authentication middleware. This will verify user is actually a two-factor user, and user session is valid. For this is the middleware, because this will check some session related things, because we are strictly handling the signature of the user request to verify two-factor authenticated code. For this is the two-factor user middleware, and there is a kernel.php, and kernel.php uses some middleware, that is kind of 3 kind of middleware. This is the web middleware, and this is the API middleware, and this will be applied for route specific middleware, and this will be applied for your application route middleware, and this is will be the application global HTTP middleware. And now what we are going to see, and look at that, there is a model, and model just extend Doppar entity model. Look at that, this is the Doppar entity model. This is a very clean and very light, and look at that, this is the table related to Doppar. Doppar ensure that every model is connected to its associated model, and if your table name is different, Doppar will expect that your table name is also like a model name. Like Doppar uses this model name by default. So if this kind of if your table name is user, you do not need to use the user table here. But if your table name is different, you can use this table. Must be, you have to use this, otherwise you will see an unexpected error. So if you Doppar does not pluralize is by default. so just you have to make it manually. And this is the creatable attribute, you have to must assignable. That means if you use user uh, create, then Doppar will create your and Doppar will use this attribute to check the create before the creation. So if there is any field that is not here, so thus Doppar will exclude it before the creation. And this is the unexposable, that means you are fetching the data like user all, this kind of field will not gonna be exposed. So this is the unexposable. And there are lots of field, you can see the documentation. Where is the documentation? You can just go to here and just entity URL and just getting started. You will see the model properties encryption and model hooks. There is a powerful hooks, you will see. That's gonna be amazing hook style, you can call this. This is beyond your expectation. You can use this hook like there are three ways you can call this hook, like a callback method, signature class based, and conditional hook. This is the amazing part of the conditional hook. I will see you in this section. We can see it. Just add this hook, and where we can add this, just we can say after the finishing of model hooks. After the finishing of tutorial, all the middle layer, and then last part we will see the model hooks. This is gonna be amazing. So look at that. Our model part is done. There is a app service provider. Look at that. We already told you that Doppar uses the same architecture concept of Laravel, but there is a different element. We will see this in this tutorial very clearly. And look at that, there is an app service tutorial. This is uses the same concept. Doppar uses this register method while bootstrapping Doppar application, and then the boot method. Doppar first call the register method and then call the boot method. So you can use your custom services to initialize this here. Though Doppar load many services from its controller cleanly declaratively, so many cases you do not need to use this app service provider. So then this is the schedule. You can use the command schedule from here. So we can check the schedule also, but no need to for this tutorial. You can go to the just digging deeper, and this is the full console. You can go here and the task schedule, and from here you can see how you can use. Doppar uses powerful diamond based schedule and normal schedule. That means you can run your schedule second based and minute based, whatever you want. Look at that. This is the chrome diamond, and without diamond you can use this. So there is loads of command: diamond start, diamond end, diamond restart, diamond status, and just a normal cron run. That is the machine dependent. That means cron will execute every minute. That will system naturally do it. And this is the not machine dependent. This is the cron diamond dependent. This will, you are manually triggering your cron. This will execute every second. Look at that. This is so powerful. You can check this. So this is our schedule. Now our schedule, our directory structure app is done. This is the bootstrap. And what is bootstrap? Bootstrap is the file that will manually calling it from the public index.php. Look at that, we are calling the bootstrap app.php. That means that first of all, when the request is started, the index.php is called and load the composer autoloader, and then just call the application bootstrapping file. So it will just define a base path that is gonna be your application base path, and then just manually creating an application instance. And then what is going to happen, it will load the base path and set the relaxable path. That means set relaxable path means every Doppar request, that means except get request like post, put, pass, delete, every kind of request Doppar except a CSRF token. So if you want to send a request that not gonna be used CSRF token, then you can just define it your URL. That means this webhook, all the webhook URL that start the webhook bypasses all the URL that start with webhook, that not gonna be used the CSRF verification. And this is the configure application we are passing here, and then just build means just returning an application instance. Look at that, this is the return an application instance, nothing else. And our application instance is ready. That means we are going to use this application instance from this is available inside here. Now look at that, the app instance are dispatching your request, nothing else. This is the dispatch your request and getting the resolving result, and result is instant of result. We are manually setting to the body and then just preparing and then send before the echoing out it. Now this is the very simple HTTP request, very clean, very light, and no very much dependency. That means Doppar request iteration cycle is so much small. So now this is the config, this is the configuration directory. Every configuration file will be here, and look at that, this is our database file, this is the migration, this is will be cedar, and this is our SQLite file. Look at that, this is our migration, this is our just only user table is here. Look at that, this is the only user migration. Now I think our this is the application translated file you are using this, and your application file will be here inside the lang directory if your application is multi-language dependent. And this is the public directory, and this is the resource that will be the auto template will be stored here. Doppar except your auto template will be resources inside views directory, and this is the route is gonna be purely optional. That means Doppar recommend you are going to use attribute based route, that means route attribute, but still you can define your route here. Like assume if you you take the just welcome controller, and if you just commenting out this and just refresh this, look at that, this is 404 route not found. But if you define your route is here also, just use route get, and just path will be home path, and just return your welcome queue. And now we are gonna be ready, and just name was maybe home, and yes, the name was home, we can just define it home, and your route is ready to go, and we just have to import it. Not attribute, this is the facade based routing system, and our routing system is imported here, and just refresh the page and look at it, we are again our welcome page. So you can define your attribute based route or file based routing system. So I am going to use the file based, not file based, attribute based routing system. So you can use this API as well. So this is the route, and this is the storage directory. There will be app public, and the framework handle the cache, session, and views related templating engine. And now this is the log file. If any error is happen, Doppar will log here your every kind of error, and this is the vendor directory you're seeing, and this is the pool directory. This is the Doppar input file. That means when you input PHP pool, Doppar will just execute the pool file, and this is your inputted console file first. This will execute your application bootstrap, and then create the console instance, and you run your command and just exit the status. And this is the server.php. This is requested for just your local development. Now we are ready to go. Now just we are installation is done. Our basic web structure, file structure, folder structure is done, and now there is part for basic routing. So now visit the application HTTP controller, welcome controller. Now we are gonna be test our some routing system. Look at that, we are in attribute based route, and there is a loads of parameter you can pass, like URI, method, name, middleware, rate limit decay. Now just we can pass here method also. Method expect an array. Now if we set the get, it is okay because our request is get. Look at that, no error is happened. But if we make it post, you will see an error because our request is not post. Look at that, this is 404 because route not found, because with home URL there is no post request route. So what will happen, you have to make it get also. You can pass multiple requests in your HTTP method here. Look at that, again we are here. So that means your home URI going to use same request, like same URL but different request. For get request you can use this welcome method. For post request also you can use this welcome method. So This is the home part, and this is the name, and this is the middleware. So what we can pass here, there is, look at that, there is another method like middleware. You can pass a middleware here. Like if we use middleware, now middleware also accept an array. Like you can pass the middleware auth, because there is a auth middleware already registered in the route middleware directory. Look at that, there is auth middleware. So if we refresh this page, we are going to be, so 404, because there is no login route. Look at that, we are in redirect to login and there is no login route here. But if we use the guest middleware here, and we are currently the guest, so we are going to visit this page. Look at that, this is working. Now the middleware part is gone, and there is another part, that is rate limit. Rate limit means how many requests you are going to accept for a specific time. Okay, so how we can use, look at that, rate limit, rate limit and rate limit decay. Look at that, we are going to accept just 3 requests. How many times? For 1. So look at that, if we refresh the page, look at that, 1 request, and we are going to undefined middleware throttle, because throttle is the commented by default. So what we have to use, we just have to make it sure that throttle middleware is uncommented. So if we refresh this page, look at that, we are in here, make it another request, another request, another request. Look at that, after the sending the 3 requests, we are blocked for 1 minute. Look at that, now 59 seconds is now we are blocked for 59 seconds, and too many requests. Please try again after 59 requests, because we just allowed 3 requests per minute. Now if you refresh the page, if you see, there is 38 seconds, and if you refresh the page, look at that, this is just decreasing. And now after the 35 seconds gone, we are going to visit this page again. So just wait a bit for 25 more seconds. Now just wait 25 more seconds, and look at that, we are going to again visit the welcome page. So this is the Doppar routing mechanism. You can pass this kind of URI, name, method, middleware, rate limit directly from here. So our look at that, there is more 7 seconds also, but if we refresh the page, 2 seconds, 1 second, and yes, we are in our welcome page. So we are not gonna use this middleware currently, so this is will be the only part we are going to use now. So this is the basic routing you are going to use. Very simple, there is no need to go to manually go to your web.php, define a route here, define a method name, define a middleware, and just so this is the cool part of Doppar. You can say anything in this here, this will still gonna be work. Look at that, this anything. How cool is this, the Doppar routing system? So if you change the method name here, if you use the file based routing, you have to manually go to here, and again you have to change the your file name and your method name also here. So there is no need to kind of do the let Doppar handle this kind of situation. Just define the route and define your method name here. So focus on your next step. Doppar just telling you like that. So now we are in this basic routing is done. Now we are going to see the default authentication system. So now we are going to see the default authentication, and that is, now we are in the top default authentication. Doppar provide a make auth command, php pull make auth. Just run this command. Doppar will gives you some default file. Now look at that, Doppar gives you login register home profile 2fa and login register home profile layout 2fa views you are getting. Now Doppar authentication scaffolding is done. You will get loads of things like HTTP. Look at that, there is loads of controller, and you are seeing the home controller is here. Home controller calling a invoke method, and we are seeing some different kind of attribute like prefix. Prefix means this is will be applied when you visit this URL. That means the home, this is gonna be prefix, and home URL when you visit. Look at that, this is the just next very next URL. Home you will be applied. So a name will be dashboard, and this is loading the views, and this is protected by your auth middleware. So that means when you visit the home, we already check we are in the login page, so there is no way to visit this page. So when we visit this page, we are redirected by login page, because this is protected by logged in. So this is the home middleware. There are loads of middleware like profile middleware. You can check, this is the profile middleware, and there is a welcome middleware we are already seeing, and this is the authenticated middleware, login middleware you are seeing, and this is the register middleware, and this is the Doppar cool things of HTTP request. You can use many things in your request object. That is so powerful. So what is how you can check this? Just go to documentation. This is the fundamental, and check the request. This is huge powerful feature you will see from here for request pipelining. So, and this is the two-factor authenticated controller. So we will see one by one. First of all, we have to log in here. So how we can log in? Before login, we are going to use a MySQL database. So just go to your SQLite, just uncomment it and make it a to-do database. And hi guys, there is a silly mistake, because my database password is not previous was password, but there this is not password. My database password is 123456. So we are seeing the error for while connecting to MySQL database. So now our database error will be gone, because our password will be fixed. Now just going to run again the MySQL fresh command, php pull migrate fresh, and yes, we are going to use our Doppar all table. Look at that, there is only users table, and we are going to create another command, php pull dbseed, to insert our first user, because we are going to log in our application. So our default authentication is done. We will check a two-factor authentication. Now if we visit our application, just our database, now for handling our database, we are I'm going to use bookkeeper. Now just look at, this is the we are going to use MySQL database, and the database will be to do, and just now our password is 123456. Just check, I am used here password, so that's why we are seeing the error. And now our database only uses the migration table, and this is the user, and we should have one user, because we run dbseed command. Look at that, there is a one user, and what we are going to see, the user have two-factor is null, and just in email and password and his name. So if we are going to just log in the user page, and just we are going to use this email, and if we refresh, if we just, the password is password PASSWORD, you can see it from the seeder file. Just look at the user seeder, and look at that, the password is normal password. So there is very simple password. So just make it a request, and look at that, we are a dashboard. So this is the Doppar default dashboard Doppar is providing you, and the version is 3.0, and the very simple dashboard. And if we visit the profile page, there is a profile, and you will see the profile name and the email address, and changing the password and the two-factor authentication. And now if we just again just our changing the name, look at that, my name is Mehdi Hassan, so just name it changed, and look at that, our name is changed. So this is the Mehdi Hassan. Now if we again log out, and look at that, we are successfully logged out, and again we try to visit the home page, it should return the login page. Yes, now this is the login, and password is password, and again look at that, there is no two-factor blocked. So I am just logged in again, and just going to log in, and just go to your profile and enable two-factor authentication. Just make it enable, and look at that, Doppar is providing you the recovery codes. Using this recovery code, if you forget your password or two-factor, you face problems, so you can use this authentication code. Doppar is not give you the implemented this recovery code implementation things. You can implement it in your own ways. This is very simple. Just create a form and accept this token. There is a very clear documentation in security section, authentication, how we can use the recovery code. Is in the two-factor authentication section, there is a nice documentation. So I am going to use this light mode, and look at that, this is the determine two-factor status. You can use this has two-factor enable complete, and request so many things. Generate two-factor code. Look at that TOTP provides login URI QR code. That means so many things you will get here. This generated the two-factor code. And you can check the verify two-factor code using this code. So this is very simple. Look at that, verify two-factor code, just code. So you can check this in this way. So very simple. Now this is the your recovery code, and this is your authenticated, you are already enabled. So this is the two-factor already enabled. Now if we visit the dashboard and just make it log out, and again if we are going to create the login, just look at that, we are in two-factor page. So we are not gonna log in because our two-factor is enabled. And if you check the database, just refresh it and look at that, this is our two-factor secret code is here, and two-factor recovery code is also here, but this is encrypted, and this is secret is also encrypted. Now just what happened now, I currently in my case there is no smartphone in my room, so I am not going to check it, but you can check it from using your phone. I am just currently make it null because I just showed you. You can check in using your phone by scanning it, the two-factor recovery code. Just now if we again try to log in, look at that, there is no block. So if we visit profile again, just enable two-factor and just scan the QR code, it will use your TOTP based time based two-factor authentication. Every 30 seconds your key will be changed. You have to check this, you have to use this key before login. So I hope you know the how TOTP authentication is work. This is industry standard. So now I'm going to again disable it. Now look at that, our default authentication is checked, two-factor authentication is checked, and we are going to use to do migration. How we can use the to do migration? So just we are going to create another migration, PHP pool make migration. I'm going to use the documentation because in this way you will learn how to use the documentation also. So just go to migration, and we are in the migration section. How we can create a migration? Creating a migration, you can use this command PHP will make migration and create. So what we are going to create, if you just use the create command, it will create this thing, and if you create this command, it will create your specific table. Now I am going to use this table. I am going to use this command, now paste it, and our table name will be to do, and you can prefix it to do's or to do, and just make it to do, and our migration is done. Now if we are in the migration and seed section, so I will write migration and also a seeder PHP pool db PHP pool make seeder and to do seeder. Look at that, this is the to do seeder we are already gone get. And now if we refresh, if we in our database, and you will see there is a to do migration, and what we are going to use, to do will be a table, and to do will be to do will there will be some field that will be like what we can use to do, that will be a name, to do string, that will be a name, and column length can be 100, and then to do can be a status, to do boolean status. We can set default to, and then who created this to do, we can make this foreign key in top, like here table unsigned big integer, and just you can use this user ID, but this is not the this is not going to handle your cascade. But if you want to handle cascade, you can use, look at that, foreign ID for So it will be the user class, and what we can use and except to look at that, this is the model, then pull on delete cascade, yes, on delete cascade, and on update cascade, yes, on update cascade. So this is the foreign ID for our on delete cascade is set. There will be a name, there will be a status, and to do can be a just we can set another field like type, and type can be a simple string, just assume for past purpose, so we can use some filter. So this is the type, and this is going to be a nullable, and yes, our to do is done. So now we can just migrate this to do PHP pool migrate, not fresh. Yes, our to do migration is done. If we refresh our database, you will see the to do migration is here. If we refresh, not refreshing is happening, just refresh from here, no, still refreshing is happening. I don't know how we can refresh this page. I'm going to just remove this, opening it from here. This is cool table plus. I am just going to use this localhost, not Doppar. It will be going to do and just connected. Yes, our to do and user is there. So to do has no field, no record, so just visit to do and just write a to do code, and we are already created a to do, just going to create a to do we have already to do should be imported the top. So to do, sorry, we have no model, so just create a model, PHP pool make model to do model, and we can migrate it here in this to hyphen also. So just make a model. So our model is ready, so make it to do, yes, to do created. To do has some field like name, so this gonna be name, fake name, email. So we are going to use no email. There is a status, so status gonna be, status is by default true, and this is type is nullable. We can add type is going to be fake, not fake what. So just our to do is ready, and we have to add one thing, is that is user ID. That means user ID. What user ID? We have only a one user. Look at that, this is only one user, so we can make it a thing like that, user first. And what we are going to use, user ID. Yes, our to do is ready, and we have to think one thing, is that to do accept a creatable attribute. When you use creatable, when you use this create method, you have to assign the mass assignable attribute. So what we can do, go to your model look at that, this is the user model. You can use it, but assume your creatable field is loads of field like 20, 30, 40, 50, just 20 field, 30 field, 25 fields, so loads of field. So Doppar must accept this field. There is no way to define this empty. So how we can do this very effectively? Doppar has a command, that is get command, like look at that, get column. So if you run this command, and this is the table, this will give you the ready creatable property. So just run this command. I am using the terminal because it is more pretty to see. PHP pool get column, look at that, yes, our to do column. Look at that, our to do is ready. Just copy it and just copy it here from here, and just paste it the to do field. Yes, our protected creatable is ready to go. Now if we run PHP pool dbc not all, we are want to do cdr. Look at that, our to do cdr is done, and just refresh the page, and yes, we have one records. So now our everything is ready to go. So our installation is done, basic routing is done, default authentication is done, two-factor is checked, to do migration and cd is done. Now we want to use the listing. how we can list to do. So for listing a to do, let's create a controller PHP for make controller to do controller. Yes, we are going to create a to do controller, and our to do controller is ready. So just visit the to do controller app http controller to do controller, and now write a function index and remember the type return type, and we need a route attribute route. Remember, this should be attribute route going to use URI, and the URI path will be to do. And look at that, if we use this and refresh this page, it is gonna be home URL, but this is gonna be to do. So you can use the mapper attribute, because mapper will give you mapper will allow you to add prefix of your URL, so that is gonna be to do. And now our URL is ready. Just return DDD, and not return, just return DDD. Yes, and if we refresh the page, not profile, it is gonna be to do, and just refresh. Yes, we are in the to do field, to do method, so our index is working. Now one more thing is that the to do controller will be protected by authenticated user. So if we refresh this logged out from here, just home URL and just make logout. If we visit to do, yes, we are still there, but this is gonna be protected by middleware. So if you think your to do controller, all the method should be protected by middleware auth, so you can use this here. Otherwise you can use this method specific middleware. So our to do controller are going to be protected by all the method is going to be protected by authenticated users. So just add the auth middleware here. So if we refresh the page, look at this. Now we are in the login page. So if we go to user, just copy the email and just try to log in. Yes, we are logging, and yes, we are in to do. So redirected to to do page. So now what we are going to create, we are going to list all our to do here. Now just call the to do all, yes, and return the to do. Look at that, class http controller to do not found. We have to import the to do. Now if we refresh the to do and just refresh the page, yes, our to do is, our very first to do is here. And now we are going to use the latest to do, will show first. So just use to do newest and passing the ID, using ID, and just call the get. So refresh the page, yes, our to do is there. And now we are going to use just not to do, we are going to use pagenet. So pagenet will be 5 posts per page. If we refresh the page, look at that, our pagenet is ready. Now we are going to pass this to do in our, look at that, Doppar is powerfully control the dependency injection. So you can pass the to do model here. To do, just call the to do like this, and just call like this also. Look at that, call to a method apps to do newest, call to undefined method, to do is not found. So what we have to use, call the query and just method the call, and yes, we are in here because this is dependency injection that is not found in the query. So now we are in ready. So now if we refresh the page, return view, now we are going to use the to do dot index. So our to do dot index, we have to create the ready, we have to make it ready, our to do dot index, and the compact will be compact. Now if we refresh the page, we will see to do index not found. Look at that. Our view to do index not found attempted path, this is not found. Index.odo.php is not found. Now if we visit the resources, there is no index dot to do. So what we have to do, we have to create the to do folder here and just call a index dot to do dot php, and if we refresh the page we will see a to do index dot auto dot php. Our file will be view to do index. Yes, we are in resource views to do index. Our index is not founding. Now look at that, views to do index not found. Now what is happening, to do index, look at, let me just fix the issue. Sorry, we write here index dot to do dot php. This is not index dot to do dot php, this should be index dot auto dot php. Yes, this is the index dot auto dot php. Now we should see the blank page. Yes, this is the blank page. Now if we go to the home page, look at that, there is already a extended file, so we can use this and just refresh the page. We should see the dashboard. Yes, the dashboard is here. Now just clear the everything we are seeing. Now yes, we are in the dashboard. Yes, now this is not dashboard, this is to do page. Yes, this is to do, and we have to change the title also. Just make this title to do and refresh the page. Yes, this is section to do. This is to do, not section to do. This is to do, and yes, this is the to do. Now we are going to list the to do here. So make sure our recording is running. So yes, our recording is running. So what we have to do, we have to create a table here. So we are bootstrap pipe table. So go to with bootstrap and just copy it here, and we are going to paste this. If we refresh the page, yes, there is a to do. So now what we can add, we can add a loop here. TA is just remove this tier. What we can use, we can use to do id, to do created by, to do name, to do status, and action. Now there is a, we have to add this inside this loop. Just create a for loop for is. So this is the for is. Our for is not just supporting for is. We can use this for is and just in for is and just make your to do is there. Just look at that, our to do is what kind of formatting to do is following. Look at that, there is a inside data section. So what we can use, to do data and as to do. You can make it to do's, make it to do's, make it to do's. Yes, and now our to do is ready. What you can do, not curly brace, we are in Odo, not blade, so use to do id. We are going to use to do id, to do what we use created by, to do user id. Currently it will be user id because there is no relationship. To do name, to do status equal to if one make it active, else inactive, and another is action. So currently just add this action hard coded, edit and delete. Just refresh the page. Yes, we have one to do. And now we are inside to do section. Now we can add margin top 3. Yes, margin top 3 is working. Now we have one user. Now we have to add the pagination. So now currently we have only one user. So for pagination we can make the to do setter 10 times. Just go to to do setter, just make sure our to do setter is there, database setter, to do setter, and use the use loop. Just refresh the page and have to be 100. Yes, just run the to do setter again. PHP pull db to do setter, and yes, our 100 setter is running. It is executed within 104 seconds. So if we refresh the page, look at that, there is a 5 records because we use pagination and 101 is top. Now if we go to our index page, there is a way to paginate the user, and that is, maybe this is the way we can HTML skipping, cause just go to config and auto.php and look, check the, yes, this is the example of HTML skipping. Just one, not two, just make one and just one. Now what we can going to do, we can going to use to do's. There is a two type of pagination in Doppar. Just go to documentation, dive into details, and look at that, there is pagination. And how we can call this pagination? Pagination is two ways, like link with jump and links. So if we use paginator links, it will give you this kind of view. Look at that, undefined array key last page. And if we use pagination link with jump, again we are seeing the undefined array key last page. Maybe something bug is there. So if you run the command php pull vendor pagination publish pagination, our pagination is published, and look at that, still the error is there. So this is the bug is existing in our system, so we have to fix this. So I am just noting it here because I have to fix this, the pagination causing the issue, and copying it here and just go to my Slack. I'm just pausing it. Sorry, there is not the issue actually. Look at that, we are undefined array key last page. Our query has the last page. If we return the data, look at that, this is the last page is there. That means our code is executed perfectly, because the issue is that we are passing the to-dos, not the data. There is a data because we copied it from the documentation, so there is a data, so we have to pass our to-dos here. Just pass the to-dos, and if we refresh the page, and yes, our pagination is there. Look at that, previous, next, and page 1 to 2, and look at that, this is the jumping. You can visit any page. Look at that, this is the pages we are visiting. Look at that, our record is going, yes, record is going. And now the fact is our another pagination, that is link with jump we are seeing, and just see the links. So look at that, if we use the link, there will be a this kind of pagination, but this is going to be, this will give you the jump option. Just remember, if your data is huge, don't use this link with jump pagination, use this just link pagination. So now our pagination is working, our listing is done. So our next part is our listing is done. Next part is to do is create. So now our so create, we need to need to show a button here, the create to do. So how we can create this to do button? Just create another function called public function create, that will be to do. Use the route name will be, name should be to do dot index, and just paste it here, copy this, and to do dot create, and that will be create, and just it will show the to do dot create. Over there our to do dot create is there, and now we are going to use a button here, like button create, and we are going to use a not button anchor tag. Button will be route, to do dot create, yes, to do dot create, and we are going to name it create new to do, and make it a class btn primary. Just refresh the page. Yes, there is a create new to do button. So now our create new to do button is here, and but the create to do is not found also. So what we have to do, we have to create a to do file, create to do also here. So create dot to do, sorry, not to do, again we are going to get same mistake. So create dot auto.php is ready, and copy the index file and paste it here, and just remove all of the things. Just use create new to do, and yes, I'm seeing create new to do. Go to profile, because there is a form. We can copy this field, profile section, just copy the form, and yes, paste it here. If we refresh the page, yes, there is a nice to do field. So what we are going to use, we can use a card here, tip dot card body, and refresh it and refresh the page, and nice, there is a create new to do. We can add just little bit margin top 2, and refresh the page. Margin top is not working, I think, so no problem. So what field we are going to use for to do, there will be a name, there will be name status type. So name status type, so this will be to do name, and this will be to do name is there, so value will not be there. Name, this field going to be required, and to do, and then will be type. So means this will be optional. Name will be type will be text, and there will be another, that will be checkbox. Why is checkbox? Checkbox we will find in our login page. Go to login page, and over that there is a checkbox, I think, yes, there is a checkbox. So just paste it here, and checkbox will be status, and this is not, remember this will be status, and just refresh the page, and yes, our name, type and status is ready. So what we are going to just submit the page, this will show some message. So what we are going to use, we have to store the to do. So how we can store this to do, create a method store, just make this store to do dot store, use request request, and if we refresh the page, return request all, and just refresh the page. Sorry, we have to update also our to do dot store. So to do dot store is there. If we remove the CSRF token, what will happen? Refresh the page, fillable this, submit this, CSRF token mismatch, yes. If we uncomment this, again go to page, refresh the page, again fill and refresh the page, route to do dot store not found, cause there is no to do dot store, cause to do dot store is there, but this is not get request. We have to make it a method post. So if we make method post, the error will be gone, yes, the method will be post. And if we refresh the page, yes, submit again, yes, this is our request. So now our status is not coming here, cause we have to see what is happening here. Checkbox, input checkbox, name status, we sorry, we remove the value, so there is no, by default it will be 1. Now if you refresh the page and again it is checked, and yes, status is there. So now what we are going to do, we are going to store this in our to do table. Now if we go to our to do controller, we have to refresh, we have to sanitize this before, so just make this sure, request sanitize, like name will be required, 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 and there is no field, mandatory field. You can go to documentation, and there is a validation section inside fundamental validation. You can see all of the thing, how you can validate your request. So now if we refresh the page, if we send this, we will get the view. We are not going to show the view, we are going to store the data. So how we can store this data? So there are loads of ways to storing the data, like if we create the request all, what will happen here? Look at that, this is return request all, just refresh, yes, this is request all. Now again select, refresh, this is all. Now if we do this, like there is a attribute in Doppar like bind payload and your model, which model? Your to do model, yes. Now what will happen if we return the to do? Look at that, you are going to get the same data, cause your to do is already binded the request payload. So you can just use to do create from model to do, and now the to do is created. So return redirect route, which route? To do dot index, and just make it a message with success. I don't know who is, we can check the login controller, it is using with success, yes. So if we use with success, this success will be auto binded in our layout file. So we will see the message to do created successfully. So now if we maybe to do dot route is not gonna support this kind of with success, that means we are seeing the message. So if we refresh the page, yes, generate user ID doesn't have a default value, we missed the user ID. So how we can bind this user ID in here? So we are not gonna use this feature because we have to add the user ID in our feature. So let's use another way. So assume there is no user ID in our request because we have a user ID and there is no user ID in the future. So what you can do, you can see another thing, that is the tricks here. Just input name user ID and you can make it a value auth ID, and name is user ID and auth ID. So if we refresh the page, look at that, the user ID one is here, to make it just hidden. Yes, just refresh the page, status is 1 and store it, and yes, our to do created successfully, and this is the 102 we created. Duncan Logan, another we can try. Look at that, we are going to create Jamie Camacho. Just refresh, and yes, Jamie Camacho is created. So our to do is done, to do is created successfully, and to do is validated successfully. Now one thing you can do, just refresh, remove the required, and if we go to do and refresh the page, look at that, our name field is required is showing. So you can use another way, that is validation class. So PHP pool make request, we can use to do request and just use the to do request here. To do request, call it, cut it from here, name required, go to do request, authorize should be true, and just pass it here. Yes, to do request, extending from request, this is the from request, very light simple class, and it is implementing validate when resolve, that's a normal thread. So if we refresh the page now, just again request, look at that, still the name field is required. So our controller is so clean. So now our creating part is done, our listing is done. So if we refresh the again the to do page, we can add this inside sidebar. So how we can do it? So just visit the which part we are there, we are creating part. So just go to sidebar, layout, app.todo, and just refresh the page here, and there is a dashboard section. Yes, and just copy it and just make it your request is not home to do, it is active, and route will be to do dot index. Yes, and make it to do, and title will be to do, and refresh the page. Yes, there is to do, and yes, we are in to do. So just forgot about design, we are just learning Doppar. So now if we go to do controller and look at that, this is our to do controller, and we are in the store method, and now we are going to use the update method. We are create done, list done, create done, update we are going to use. So how we can update it? Before update, we are going to show you another thing, that is edit. We have to show the to do also first, before creation, before updation. Now before update, now this is edit, and this will be to do dot edit, and this on our method will be get. So by default this is get. We are not going to use any kind of thing, we are going to use the ID. Now what will happen if we return the just a string, what will happen if we visit the edit page? Now if we use the update model, just visit the to do index page. Now just this is the index, we can add a button here, just add a button, anchor tag, link, and that will be edit. What we are gonna add, this will gonna add a route to do dot edit and pass your to do id here, to do id. So our routing is ready, and just cover it with parenthesis. To do dot edit, yes, our to do dot ed is route. I think this is ready. Now refresh the page. If we refresh the page, our to do edit is ready, and if check the URL to do edit 103, and if you refresh the page, look at the route parameter id is used but not accepted by method id. So if we use the method id, just use int id. Now if we refresh the page, id is here, and just return the id, what will happen? Look at the id 103, and if we make it string, what will happen? Look at that, it's still working. So if we return the id and just make the we are not going to use the id, so just if we return to do find id, so what will happen? Look at that, our to do is working. We are seeing the to do 103 to do. So now we can avoid this query here using route model binding. How we can do this? We can do it using just passing the model attribute, model, and just pass your model to do. So what will happen here? We will still see an error. What error? Look at that, the parameter pass the id, but you are accepting the to do. So what we'll do, we have to add the to do here. Now if we refresh the page, and yes, we are in the to do page. Now this is the to do we are using. Now assume you want to see an exception. Now what will happen if you pass here 104, because there is no 104 user. We are seeing app http edit argument must be type of models to do null given. So what we avoid this error, just pass a question mark here, and yes, the question mark, and the error is gone. You are seeing the blank page. So how we can again generate the error, logical error? You can pass the just exception true. That means you are forcefully trailing the model. Yes, show the exception error. Look at that, unknown naming parameter exception. There is model may be used column exception. Look at that, there is exception. Yes, we are missing the spelling, and yes, we are seeing the method. We are seeing the logical error, app model to do not found with id 404. And yes, we are seeing the method. And what will happen if we want to show the to do here using the not id, using the to do 104 to do 104 is to do, we are going to see the name. How we can do this? Like we are passing here name, not id. We are showing the name. Look at that, the Jamie Casso is not found. We are past the Jamie Casso. So how we can do this? We can do just telling here just accept. Look at that, go to the model attribute. Look at that, it is using the column. So what column you are going to forcefully add if you are not going to use id? Just add column, pass here your name, and all will handle Doppar. Just refresh the page. Yes, the name is here, but we are going to use not name, going to use id. So pass the one. Yes, this is working. Now there is another thing. Look at that, if you go to your to do model, use a method PHP full public function get route key name. What will happen? if we visit the get route key name in the base model and search here route key name returning the primary key by default. So if we use the returning the primary key by default, so if we use the return name, what will happen, we have to return string. Now what will happen, look at that, we are returning the name, so this name will be applied here. So if we return this will not gonna be show the error. Now if we see the exception, now what will happen, we are not finding error, we are not finding data because we are returning the to-do model forcefully that the route model binding key will be name, so the name is going to be applied here, so that's why you are not getting the data. But if we pass the name here, we are getting the data. So now we still can force the Doppar this okay ठीक है okay, we are forcefully calling it route model binding key is a name, so we are forcefully set route model binding key is name, but the name route model key will be only ID for this edit method. So how we can do this, just set the column and use 103, and again yes, this is working still because this is forcing the Doppar use the ID rather than the name. So our edit data is ready, just pass it like from here, so pass it here to do dot edit and just pass the to do and go to edit method, not edit method, just copy the create and pass the edit dot odo dot edit.odo.php and just paste it here. We are updating to do update to do, and create will be create to do. We are in update to do, so this will be update, this will be to do update, and this gonna be to do ID, and method will be post. We can use another method like method patch, and the name will be name and the value will be to do name, and the type will be to do type, and the status will be if to do status equal 1, make it checked or empty. So if we refresh the page, we are seeing to do update not route to do update not defined. So what we have to do, we have to use the name to do update just update and make it update, make it to do dot update, and the method will be patch. Yes, we are ready to go, and just return the to do. Yes, we are, look at that, we are Jamie Camacho, this is the type, and status is active. If we refresh the if we submit the page, and we will see the 103. So we have to update this. How we can do, we can update to do update. What we can do to do update is name will be request name, status will be request status int, and now Let's guys, so how we can update. So our to do is there, just look at that. So now just update the take the request from the request, and updating is okay, and just to do updated successfully. Okay, now if we refresh the page, CSRF token mismatch, cause we have to one token is there, maybe session destroyed. Now yes, session is destroyed. Now just log in again. Now for this page, yes, update to do, and just making Jamie updated, and yes, Jamie updated. Our updating is okay, just this is active. Now go to again, make status unchecked, and again, and yes, this is inactive. Our updating is working. Now what we have to do, now there is a next part, that is our list creation, update done, and now we are going to do delete. So how we can delete the data? Just remove the edit page and just add another button, make a delete from, just make a form post, and route will be delete, and we can make CSRF, and method you can use post, we can use delete, whatever you can is up to you. I'm going to use delete button, and now add a button, type will be submit, and just delete. Okay, just refresh the page, route delete not found. We have to add this route in our to do controller. Just update, copy the update, and make it delete, and just make it delete, and let's make it delete, or you can make it post, cause we are not passing here the delete. So just make to do delete, and yes, to do deleted successfully. And if we can remove the request. Now let's send the request again, and yes, our data is deleted. We are going to delete the Jamie. Now yes, our Jamie is deleted. Now what we can do, our next part is Doppar Insight installation to fix n+1 query, because Doppar Insight is a debugging tool, so we can use this to debug our query, our performance, everything related to a single request. So just go to Doppar Hub and look at there is a Insight package, and we have to install it, and this will give us this kind of interface. So now just install this. Doppar Insight is installing v1.0.3, and after installation we have to add this provider and config app.php. Our installation is done, so go to config app.php and just scroll the bottom and add this here, and now make sure this is pointing your service provider. And if we run this command, it will publish a config file. Look at that, a to-do inside file is config publishes. Now if we refresh the page, you will give a interface like this. This will give you a demo. Look at that, this is 2 queries executing, and you will see the details from here, and this is the quick look of your request. what is happening here. This is two query is executing. One is for pagination counting and another for selecting the on the request. So our inside installation is done. Actually so many noise is happening around me, so I'm pausing the video every time. So now if we refresh the page, look at that, you are seeing our request details is here. And now one more thing we have to do, look at that, this is the created by this id, but we have to show a name here. So how we can do it? We can do it from our relationship. This is the relationship, and the relationship we need is bind to. That means every to do has a user, and one user can have many to dos. So look at that. If you visit to do page, to do table, look at that, there is a user id. That means every to do has a one user. So what will be the relationship? The relationship will be the bind to relationship. So go to the to do model, to do, define the relationship, user id and user id. Yes, now if we visit the query page, now look at that, this is our to dos. Now if we refresh the page, this is the to dos. Now if we return embed and that expect a relationship, that is user, now what will happen? If we return every to do has a relationship, look at that, every to do has a user and this is the user. So now we want to only fetch the name. So what we will do, just make a colon and add a name. Look at that, we are only fetching the name. Add id is optional. Doppar automatically add the id here. Look at that, now our query is ready. So now if we return, if we refresh the page and look at that, the three query is executing. One is for fetching the result, second is for the counting the result, pagination count, and third is for the user, related user. And the query is, you are seeing the limit for this, and this is for your offset pagination, and this is for your wherein, like a relational query, and that means every query taking 0.4 millisecond, 0.31 millisecond, 0.59 millisecond, and the total query execution is 1.3 millisecond. So now we want to show the name here. So what will be the name? The to do user name, and for so if we refresh the page, look at that, this is the name. Now what will happen if we remove the embed here? Now if we refresh the page, you will see there is still name, but query is executing 7. That means for 5 rows executing 5 queries. So 5 query, and one for counting offset and one for fetching the result. That means 7 query. That means extra 4 query is executing here. That is creating the n+1 query issue. So every ORM faces this kind of n+1 query issue. Doppar uses is entity ORM. So we have to solve this by embedding the relationship by ER loading. So you refresh the page, now look at that, this is 3 query is executing. Now our query is robust for performance. So our insight showing us that we are executing the perfect query for listing the query. Now we are seeing this, everything related to the request, and that is the details. You can see this is your queries, this is your HTTP, this is your database, this is your cache, no cache is there, this is your authenticated information, this is your request, current request state information you are seeing, and this is your response, and this is your performance matrix you are seeing here, and this is your session, and this is your. So this is the Doppar insight you can use to in your development mode, and you can disable it by just visiting the Doppar insight and make it just false. Now if we refresh the page and look at that, our debugging tools has gone. So that's the feature of Doppar insight. And if we refresh the page, and yes, this is again. So now what will happen, what's the next is our code is done, Doppar insight installation is done, n+1 query fixing is done. Now we want to search the data from the grid. So how we can search the data from the grid? We are going to add a search button here. Now we can do one thing, that is we are injecting the model here, so we can replace this query in a model. So how? Just go to the model and write here get to-dos and just replace this here and just return. Make it this, and this is not gonna be required, and just call the to-dos from here. And if you call the to-dos, yes, it is doing the same thing. Now our controller is more clean. Now what we are going to do, we are going to search a to-do. So just add a search button here. Again the noise is coming, so I am pausing it. Okay, now noise is gone. Now add a search button here. So I just add a little bit design here, make it here, and this is the right section. So now what you can do, we can add a search button after the to do. So now add a search button here and tag, now make it a search, not anchor tag. We need an input field, and this will be search, and name will be q, and the value placeholder will be search. And if you refresh the page and look at that, this is a search button, and just make it a class from control. Yes, it is taking a search button, and let margin bottom 2, refresh the page, and yes, it's little bit margin, make it 3, and yes, this is a 3. Now what will happen if we search add a get request and just paste it here? Now add a submit button will be search, type will be submit, class will be btn dark, and yes, route will be to do dot index, and yes, and method will be get. Since method is get, so we do not need to pass the CSV token from here. If you refresh the page, look at that, the search button is here, and just adding a margin bottom here also in the form margin bottom. Yes, bottom is taken 3. Now our design part is done. Now we are going to search from here. If we refresh the page, by just assume we are going to search the name. So if we refresh the search, then it will work the searchable string. Now it will search your requested string as per requested query. So how we can search here? Doppar provide a search method called search, and now this is the attribute you want to search and the string. So what we are going to search? We are going to search the name. So this is gonna be the name we are going to search, and what we are going to search. So let's say again, the noise is gone. So we are going to search the name, and what we going to search then the name as per the creator who created this to do. So we want to search the name also. So now again we are going to search the name, which then the user dot name. This is the relationship user. So currently now we are in user model, and what kind of data we are searching from user model, we want to search name, and also from the ID we are going to search, and the search term which will be search term, that is going to be request. Look at that, there is no requested input from here, so we can make it global request helper request. We are passing the queue look at that, we are passing the queue from here, the name, and that is the queue. Yes, and the value will be the request queue. Okay, now what we are going to search. Now look at that, the searching already working because there is a requested queue in our query string. Now if we go to visit, look at that, this is working. Now I am going to search the Mehdi Hassan. Yes, all the creator is Mehdi. So if we want to search, and yes, this is working, and if we just we are going to look at it, still our query is 2, and just go to inside and make the false, and if we refresh the page, look at that, if we search, still our pagination is by default checking your taking your position. No need to add query string in your request. So if we add here and want to search, there is nothing, and if we remove the space, look at that, there is 5 record we are getting. So now if we want to search, just let me LLA. So now if we search LLA, and there is again 4 records we are getting. Now this is our searching is working. Now what we want to get, we want to do another part, that is filter. So what we can add the filter. Now add a drop down after the search button. Now if we not drop down, we can add the query string just for quickly doing the tasks. Now go to the to do and add another method, like if Doppar provided the if method, if request filter, then it will apply the filter. So use the function, you will get query, and what you want to do, you want to do the query where, let assume you want to filter as per the status, not status, we are want to as per the ID. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to do the ID equal request ID, just make it ID, and there is no request, just add this. Now by default the Doppar will load all the data. Now if request has ID, then it will apply the ID. Now just add a ID here, ID equal 1. Look at that, this is the one request we are getting. Look at that, this is the ID applied. So how we can make this query, this is already a different query. Now we can make this a query binding for make it more readable. So how we can do it, just make a PHP public function like filter, and just refresh and add it here, just remove your query. You are receiving the builder, look at that, we are receiving entity builder. Make sure this is entity builder, not query builder, and just query, and yes, our filter is done. Now we have to do one thing, that is this is going to be a magic method like PHP. Now just call it like if everything okay. Now just call it like your query filter, not now everything is there, just pass the query from here. Now we are ready to go. Now if we refresh the page, yes, the filter is working. If you want to search the 100, and yes, the 100 user is there. Now our filter is working, our searching is working. So what we have already seen, we have seen the how to do a code application, how to search data in Doppar, how to filter data in Doppar, how to use query binding in Doppar, and how to search relational data in Doppar using search function, and how to add a filter, and how to overcome the n+1 query problem using embed, and newest already by default accepting the ID, so no need to pass ID here, so we can remove the ID from here. And if we do now all are working fine. Now what we have to do, the next part is our to do filter is done, everything is done from here. Now we want to do is move first service pattern, then repository pattern for to-do list query. So what we are going to do, we want to do that our to-do query is now we want to use the service repository or service pattern first, then the repository pattern for the list query. That means for this query, this part, we are going to use the design pattern. So what we are going to do first, service pattern. So now create a service app. We are going to name it repository, because we convert this query to repository next, so I am calling it repository right now. So repository, and that will be gonna be the to-do repository. That is gonna be to-do repository, and just make it PHP, and just namespace will be app repository, and the class name will be to-do repository. And what we are going to do, we want to do our to-do model query, going to convert it. We are going to place this from here, get to-dos, and everything is okay. There is no this, cause we are not inside model. So what we want to do, we want to use exactly like to do. Okay, now just add the imported to do here, and now remove the to do from here. Use the service repository, to do repository, and the to do repository, and just call the to do repository from here. And yes, all are good to go, I think. Everything is working now, everything should work. If we refresh the page, look at that, still we are working. Now pass the ID equal to 5, and yes, the 5 is there, and just search the Tunkan, and yes, Tunkan is there. Search the Mehdi, and yes, we should get all the data, because all the creator is Mehdi. Yes, you are still, our query is working now. Our query is now our query is now hidden from our controller. Now what we want to do, we want to add. So now what we want to do, the very worst thing is I am living in the airport area, so there is lots of sound I am getting. So now what we want to do, we want to create a repository design pattern. We want to convert this service to repository. Now create a repository pattern for to do interface. Just make it interface, to do repository interface. To do repository interface, and just copy this, and make this just a method, and this will be interface. And yes, to do repository interface, and now remove this model from here. And what we want to do, we want to do to do repository will extend to do repository interface, repository interface, not extend, it will implement, because this is the interface, to do repository interface. So it is not getting, I think, to do repository interface, and maybe spelling is mistake. Yes, to do repository interface, to do repository, and yes, everything looks good, I think. And now what we want to do, yes, now the sound is gone. Now what we want to do, we want to do not to do repository, we want to import to do repository interface. And now okay, now if we refresh the page, we will see a error. Look at that, this is the error. That means the what is the error? The index method argument 1 to do repository cannot be resolved cause app repository in to do repository interface is not bound in the container. We have to bound this. There are loads of way to bounding interface with a concrete implementation. Now what we can do, we want to use a bind method, bind attribute, bind and bind except your repository class. So to do repository and class. Okay, now if we import this and if we refresh the page, we are good to go. Look at that, this is loading. And if we search again id equal 1, and look at that, this id equal to 1, so our repository design pattern is done for our to do repository. Now assume your to do repository interface is using all in your controller method. So how we can do it? We can just move it from here to using construct. Now just remove everything from here, just paste it here, and yes, again we are good to go. Look at that, this to do repository. Now we have to call this like not direct, we have to call this using this because we are outside of the block. Now this to do repository, now get to dos, this is not gonna work. We have to add this public, private, or many things. So if we refresh this page, yes, we are again working. So now this is the way. We can use another way, that is using the resolver. That is another attribute. You can use the resolver attribute. Look at that, this is the resolver. Use first of all abstract. What is your abstract? Your abstract is to do repository interface and class, and another is your concrete implementation like to do repository. And yes, this is going to be what, and use another to do repository directly here, to do repository interface here, and yes, to do repository interface, and just call like this. This will be applied in your entire method, entire controller method. Now look at that, still this is working. Now if we remove this here, we are going to see the again same error, bounding not possible. So just paste this here. This is going to only be applied in your index method, not others method. Now if we refresh the page, yes, the error is gone. So our repository binding, repository interface design pattern is done. So how we can go to the next step? Next step is rate limit for to do store method. So what we can do, if we want to add the rate limits for store method, that means we already see it in previous first section in our routing section. So what we can do, we can add many things like rate limit. Going to use 3 requests and that rate limit decay and just 1. That means 1 minute you can only apply 3 requests in this method. We can add another types, and that is go to the documentation and security. You will get rate limit section, that is fundamental and not fundamental. It is maybe inside digging deeper. And yes, rate limiting, there is many ways you can use this middle layer throttle. If you want to apply this, you can directly add this. This will do the same thing. This will accept 10 requests and we are going to 3, and this is going to be the same task what it will do, this middle layer throttle. And another way you can do this is file based routing, and another way you can use, you already seen this, and another way there is a annotation based like commenting. If you add this comment here, it will apply 10 requests per minute. So this is the rate limit way. You can way another, whatever place you want to add rate limit, there is a helper method in Doppar that is gonna be digging deeper. Go to helpers, and that is a rate limit method you will get. Just search rate limit. Yes, and this is the rate limit method you want to add this. Just add this global rate limit method and it will apply to the same thing. In just add a key over here, the caching key, and this is the rate limit available for this key, and just it will return the same thing. And this is the total hit your key will be applied here to check this request. So you can use the global throttle method here to check block your request per client. So this is the rate limiting you can apply for Docker. So now we are going to remove this. Now what is going to do now, the second last part is all the way of calling a middleware. Okay, now we can look at that. We are already adding middleware in Docker, like using attribute and using mapper. So what will happen if we remove the middleware? So now we can add middleware in this way, like middleware attribute. Middleware, and we can add the auth middleware. Auth. So this will gonna be used. Just go to your documentation and fundamental middleware. Look at that, how we can add the middleware like this. First of all, register it here and just call this like this middleware. This is the one way, this is another way. Look at that, how we can call this. We can call this direct authenticate class. We can call this authenticate class. We are getting another noisy from outside. Now this is the way we can define middleware. So this is the way, this is another way, and this is another way. So you can directly define your class middleware here, but remember this authenticate should be registered, must be registered in your kernel.php like this way. If this is not registered here, then your middleware will not gonna work. So this is the key point, to register a middleware in your controller. So this is the one way, and this is another way. You can define directly middleware here. And the another way is, if you, this is the class level middleware, but if you define the middleware here, like here, this middleware is gonna be only applied for this index method, not entire class. So there is a lots of example. You will see your default register, home, and other controller. Look at that, this is the middleware auth is applied here, and profile middleware, look at that, this is the authenticate middleware applied here like this way. So you can see this. So how we can define middleware, Laravel, not Laravel, define middleware in Doppar application. There is lots of way. You can see the documentation here also. There is a clean documentation you follow to register middleware. So we did everything covered already. So now one more thing is a model hook. So let's see model hook. There are 4 types of hook in model in Doppar. Let's see, just go to model hooks and just see there is a model hooks is before created, after created, before updated, after updated, and before hook, before deleted, after deleted, and one is booting and booted. So this will call for booting when our application is booting state, and this is the booted. When we call this booted hook, then your booted hook will call when the application after the booted. So this is before created and after created is also like that. This will trigger before creation, and this will trigger after creation, and this will trigger before update, and this will trigger after update, and this will trigger before delete, and this will trigger after delete. So let's see, we gonna test a hook like after deleted. So now how we can define a middleware, just call this middleware after deleted. There are lots of way, conditional way, direct class based, and just callback, like passing a callback. So we are going to use this hook. This is very simple style. So now how we can call this. Now just go to your model, to do model, and just call a hook like here, like protected hooks, and this will be an array. Now when you call this, just after deleted. So just call this after deleted, after deleted, and just put a semicolon here, and this is going to be our hook. So create a hook. There is a hook command, php for make hook, and command will be up to do after to do delete hook, after to do delete hook. So now our hook is created. Now just register it here, up to do delete hook, and yes, our to do, and yes, after to do is registered with that. So now just go to do and just call it info, to do is deleted. Just call like this to test our to do is deleted. So now our to do is registered. Now go to delete and just go to our log file, and look at that, our loads of errors. Just deleted everything and go to do again, and just delete this to do 120. Look at that, 102 is deleted, and look at that, the log, there is no log. So after deleting the to do is not triggered after to do delete hook. So this should be deleted, but this is not deleted. So what is the reason? Let's see, delete another to do, and look at that, the to do is not triggered yet. So what's the problem? So we have to identify our register process and other things. Just check the to do. Yes, we call like this. This is the booting, this is the booting, calling like this, and this is the booting. This is the hooks. Sorry, this should be hooks, not hook. So just go to protected, and yes, this is should be hook, not hook. We are a mistake. So now again just delete this 100 and just delete it, and look at that, yes, our to do is deleted. So you can get the everything you are deleting the model here. So just info the model, model name. So just look at that, our to do name is SR dates story jar. What is the pronunciation, I don't know. And look at that, this is the deleted item. So our to do hook is working. So after deleted, you can apply conditional hook, like in this way. You can pass a when, so this will trigger that the hook will be executed or not. So just like that. So we can use this also. So just pass this here after deleted, and call this after deleted. The handler will be this, and just passing here should trigger public should trigger, and just you can also take parameter model here. So just return false and make it static, and now our should trigger is okay. We are returning false, that means this hook is not gonna executed. So if you delete an item, just deleted this item 98. So look at that, the 98 item is deleted and there is no log. But if you return the true here, so this time the hook gonna execute it. So again the 97 is deleted, and yes, our 97 is deleted. And another way is, look at that, our hook is executed, but still we can avoid this calling this hook. How this way? There is another sound we are getting, but this is little bit. So now we are go to middleware controller, like to do controller, and just call the to do model like this way. To do without hook, and find the IT, not we are going to use route model binding, just accept the to do, and yes, the to do is there, and just call the to do. Now yes, the to do is going to delete, but we are skipping model hook call. So now again our log is clear and going to delete a to do 96, and name is skeleton naive. So look at that, 96 is deleted but there is no log. But again, if we just remove the without hook and just again delete the Corey Games, and yes, Corey Games deleted, and look at that, this is Corey Games. So our hook is you can use this hook in Doppar. This is so powerful. Many cases you can use this Doppar, and this is the use case, and you can call this way. This is the example how can you call this the hook in Doppar. This kind of hook, the 8 hooks you are going to get into our application. So we did so many things in this tutorial. This is the very basic tutorial to understand how Doppar application work, how you can create a CRUD application. You can use middleware, you can use two-factor authentication, you can use attribute based routing, you can use search, you can use filter, and you can use model hooks. So I think this is enough to go get started, and there is a very rich documentation you can use, so you can look through about it. And there are lots of things, there are lots of ecosystem in Docker. There is a powerful AI ecosystem, and you can get lots of things like AI queue, airbend, like this is the queue, and this is AI for AI related tasks. Even you can get a self-hosted AI system in Docker, and this is the queue for handling background job. This is the airbend for real-time broadcasting. This is the insight. You already see inside how we can see the real-time performance in our application using the inside application. This is Flareon of for API authentication. This is Notifier for notification. This is Orion for process management like shell command execution. This is Card for your authorization. This is Axios for HTTP client. You can use your HTTP client API request very gracefully using Axios component. This is no framework log dependency. You can use this Axios and PSP application. This is Auth for socialite authentication. This is Bloom. Bloom is a probabilistic data structure algorithm for searching billion records within a very millisecond. So this is the Bloom, and this is the tweak bridge you can use. This is optional because Doppar already providing its own templating engine Odo. But if you are coming from Symfony, you can use the tweak bridge, because if you use this package, so you can use tweak template in Doppar application. Thank you so much.